numbers. Okay, so we're going to be looking at section 10.2 today, which is called Analyze and Interpret Data. So we're going to be looking at things like the mean, the median, and the mode. So we're going to start with measures of central tendency. And these are numbers that give some indication of the overall average of the data set. And we're going to look at three measures of central tendency, which are the mean, the median, and the mode. The number that occurs the most often in a list of numbers is called the mode. There can be more than one mode if there are several numbers that occur the most frequently. However, if each number appears equally often, there's no mode. Suppose that x1, x2, and so on out to xn is a collection of numbers. To find the mean, and we're going to call the mean x bar like this, we just add up x1 plus x2 out to xn, and we divide by n. Okay? N is the amount of numbers that we have. The median. The median is basically the middle number when the numbers are listed in increasing order. Okay, so suppose x1, x2, x3 out to xn is a collection of numbers in increasing order. So in other words, x1 is less than or equal to x2, which is less than or equal to x3, and so on. If there's an odd number of numbers, it's just simply the middle number, right? And that will be the number whose subscript is n plus 1 over 2. So for example, if there's 5 numbers, 5 plus 1 over 2 gives you 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So if there's 5 numbers, the median is the third number on the list. However, if n is even, there are 2 middle numbers. So for example, if there's 4 numbers, then there'll be 2 middle numbers. And the way you figure out the median is you look at those 2 middle numbers and you add them together and divide it by 2. So it's 1/2 the sum of the 2 middle numbers. So again, if there's 4 numbers, then we take 4 divided by 2, that's 2, and 4 divided by 2, 2 plus 1. So we look at the second number and the third number, and we add them together, and we divide by 2. Is that okay? We will definitely be looking at examples. So we're going to start with problem number 1 from set A. It says to find the mean, median, and mode for each collection of data. So my first set of numbers is 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The mode is 9 because there are 2 9s, and everything else, there's only 1 of that number. To find the mean, I'm going to add up all my numbers, and because there are 6 numbers, I divide by 6. When I add up my numbers, I get 59, so I'm going to take 59, divide it by 6, and I could write that as the mixed number, 9 and 5, 6, or I could change it into a decimal. It will be a repeating decimal. It's 9.83333, so 9.83 repeating. And the median, because there are 2 middle numbers, there are 6 numbers, so I find the 2 middle numbers, which are the 9 and the 10. So that's the third number and the fourth number, and I add them together and I divide by 2. So my median is 9.5. Any questions on that one? Okay. So for the next one, part B, now my numbers are 17, 2, 10, 29, 14, and 13. First, I wrote them in increasing order. Okay? I notice that there's no mode because for each number there's only one value, there's only one. So there's no mode. Each number occurs the same number of times. To find the mean, I'm going to add the numbers together, and because there's 6 numbers, I divide by 6. Okay, so when I add them together, I get 85. So I have 85 divided by 6, which is 14 and a 6. And if you use your calculator, that'll give you a repeating decimal. It's 14.16 repeating. Median, first you have to write your numbers in increasing order. And again, there are 6 numbers. So I look at my 2 middle numbers, and I add them together and divide by 2. So this time I get 13.5. Is that okay so far? Okay. Part C, I have the numbers 4.2, 3.8, 9.7, negative 4.8, 0, and negative 10. So first, I've written them in increasing order, the way they would show up on a number line. Again, there's no mode because each number occurs the same number of times. To find the mean, I add up my numbers and divide by 6 because, again, there are 6 of them. When I added my numbers up, they came out to give me 2.9. So I took 2.9 and I divided that by 6, and I got 0.483 repeating. To get the median, I want my 2 middle numbers, which in this case were 0 and 3.8. And I added those together and divided by 2, and that gave me 1.9. Any questions on that one? Okay, part D, we've got a bunch of numbers here. The first thing I did was I put them in increased order, and I noticed that there are 2 zeros. Okay, so that was the number that occurred the most often, and so the mode was 0. To find the mean, I added them all up, and I divided by 9 because there were 9 numbers. And when I added them up, I got negative 38. So I got negative 38 divided by 9. That gave me negative 4 and 2/9, or negative 4.2 repeating. And this time, there was only one middle number. So what I like to do when I have my numbers and there's not a lot of them, I'll cross off the smallest and the biggest. Then I cross off the second smallest and the second biggest. I cross off the third smallest and the third biggest, and then the fourth smallest and the fourth largest. So I can see there's only one middle number, and that is my median. Is that okay?